Yo, what's good? It's DJ Daryl here for another episode of Fatherhood Fraternity podcast. This is a podcast that is for fathers by fathers. Got my brothers in the building. I'll make sure I start off with my left.
My name is Jeremiah. We live from Different Strokes Barber Studio, 417 Agler Road. We here. Come check us out.
And Norm Strick, what's going on, everybody?
Welcome back, Norm.
Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, what up, man?
Last week was wifey wasn't feeling good, so I had to daddy do this. And then my son wasn't feeling good today, so I was at home with him. So
you got to take care of home.
Hey, home first.
First and foremost.
Heard it from nobody else. Take home first.
All right, so I got my one of my brothers in the building that will be the guest for tonight. He is well known around the podcast world. I'm gonna let him introduce himself and where you might have known him from.
Well known is a lot.
Don't be too humble. Don't be too humble.
Well known is a lot.
We can go by the numbers.
Look. All right. Aaron B. from Black Astronauts Podcast. We've been doing this for about 7 years. And if you just search BAPPOD, we should come up. And if you search Black Astronauts, we should come up as well. I just appreciate, y'all having me on the show.
Thank you for coming through. Where are you based out of?
Right now I'm in Cleveland, but we as a network are all over. We have a couple different shows. Some of your favorite podcasters that we are, family with. Like I do the Nerd Off with Rod and Chris and Karen from Black Guy Who Tips. I also do my network as well. So I have Aaron's Untitled Interview shows. We have Houston, we have A Problem, which is one of our all-women podcasts. We formerly had Ladies Lunch, which is another all-women's podcast. Like, I really want to make sure we have variety in our network.
Yep.
And a dearth of opinions, like not just black people, not just white people, but like different people along the spectrum, right? You know what I'm saying? And I think we've achieved that over the 7 years. And like I said, I'm just happy that I finally got a chance to be on y'all show.
Man.
Appreciate you, man.
Definitely.
So just so the people can know and give some context, you are a father.
I guess. Sometimes.
DNA test say yes.
And
right now, nah. Right now I'm podcasting.
You chilling. But when you are a father, you have a daughter.
I do.
And her age?
She's about to be 5 in March.
Okay. Just so we can have the listeners have some context on where your perspective will be on this conversation. But as Jay has said, we are in the Barbershop, which is the pillar of the community where guys meet and we have our conversations. I've been in here for a couple hours and we've had about 18 different conversations and subjects. Yeah. And that's where I felt that it's always great to have these conversations. So we appreciate you rocking with us. Make sure you follow us on all social media, Fatherhood Fraternity on IG. We have a private Facebook group where we discuss these questions and many other things a lot deeper. And we're able to really have a safe spot. And I just want more fathers to join into the conversation. So make sure you follow us.
Can I say something real quick?
Say whatever you got to say.
Hey, look, I'm impressed with this barbershop, y'all.
Word?
Because going to I stopped going to, I just cut my hair 2 months ago, right? So I stopped going to the barbershop, bro. For real? Because it got to be to the point to where I couldn't bring, what if I bring my daughter in? Right?
Yeah.
Those type of conversations.
I know exactly what you mean.
And that hasn't happened once. And I've been here for about 45 minutes and I'm impressed, bro. Like this is a place you could bring your people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
we try our best. We had a slogan last year. We want to make the barbershop great again. And
I appreciate
we really try our best, man. We try to monitor our speech. We try to have universal topics that we all can chip in.
Right.
I love the fact, and this happened when Daryl was here earlier, but I love the fact when our conversation is going and then we invite a woman in, and we always get a woman's perspective.
Absolutely.
And it really changes the dynamic of the conversation. So I appreciate that, man.
There's growth within that. Like when you can be able to have a conversation amongst your brothers and then you can add a perspective.
Right.
The fact that you're inviting other perspectives allows you to grow.
Yeah.
And I think it's dope. And when there's kids in here, everybody knows the barbers, and that's like their uncles. You know what I'm saying? They come in here, they got their nicknames. Everybody knows that they play. Yeah, they got they got their basketball games, and you will see them at stuff like that. So it's definitely a pillar of the community, and I appreciate these guys. That's why I made sure that I had them involved. shouts out to everybody that's been rocking with us and have seen us evolve in our conversations.
Word.
We got to make sure that we keep it going as we have been with our question of the day. Before we get into our topic, I know you saw the topic that we're going to be talking about today is being stressed out as fathers. But the question of the day that I'm going to ask my brethren, and I'll have Jay answer first because he's heard it first. If you have $40 to take your wife out on a date, what would you do and how would you spend it?
$40 challenge, right?
$40
$40 challenge. And just make sure I give you some parameters. We'll do it from a 6 p.m. to midnight. And it has to be a weekend. Rob said it got to be a weekend day.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, I have mine ready for a weekday.
See, you know I'm trying to take Tuesday. He want to take his wife to Bible study
Dollar
first.
Burger. Hey, listen, Dollar Burger at Bar Louie.
Yeah.
And then movies is $5 on Tuesday.
Yep.
But
No,
now
you got to do Saturday night.
it is a weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
Friday night, Saturday night. So
Check
Jay,
it out. This is what I would do, man, because my love language is quality time. I know that about myself.
mine
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
And so, for the most part, it would be a lot of just one-on-one conversation. I'm not opposed to long walks in the park. I'm not opposed to I'll cook. You know what I mean? We don't really have to drink.
Right.
My wife isn't a big drinker. So I would really just take it easy, get to know her as far as quality time. I'm not going to make it any cornier than that. But
We
I
need
would
to
just
know
be
some things, though. We need to know, like, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Between 6 and midnight? You can't just say quality time.
Right.
We got.
That's free.
We need a little bit
All
more
right,
than that.
you got
The
$40.
fact that it get dark early is really cramping my style.
And it's cold. You ain't about to do no walks
Hey,
in the park
right.
when it's 4 degrees.
So
My
right-
$40
so right
day
now-
consists of a lot of outdoor activities. I'm telling you.
You have to switch it
Man,
up. You got to go to Polaris and spend all your money.
It would really be like, man, I wish I had a fireplace in my house. Boy, that fireplace would eat up
gotta
about
get
2 or
fire
3
pit.
hours. Yeah, or
One of those
something.
portable fire pits. Like,
Man,
I got one, bro.
that'll
It
just
is-
eat up about
want
2
one.
hours right
So
there,
perfect.
just sitting around the fire and talking.
Yep.
But it would be a lot of that, just conversation. I catch her at the door. You know what? Before we leave, won't we? You know how to play spades? And I would teach her how to play spades, and if she know how to play that, then we got to do tongue. We would just really have one-on-one time.
So you don't know if she knows how to play spades right
Hey,
now
man,
already.
You married somebody you don't know how
My
to
wife,
play
know,
spades.
I'm
dog.
saying,
Hold
hold
on,
on,
Hold on,
I'm
dog.
thinking first date. I'm thinking first date.
No. We're
No,
talking about
our
right
wives.
now. Your
my
wife.
It's totally
nothing.
different.
Yeah.
My wife, man, please. My wife is a champ. I'm telling you, $40, we'll make that last. We'll do 100 there. We shooting pool.
Tell us
Okay.
three
Yeah, I'm gonna say,
things.
tell her, hey, you ain't gave us one, dog.
You see, can you see my feet tap dancing?
He got some baby there
Y'all
legs
should
right
see him.
there.
He
You
rocking
know
back
what
and
I'm
forth like
Man.
an 80-year-old man at Cracker Barrel.
Should we come back to you, my brother?
No, we gonna shoot pool. We're gonna play cards because that's something that we like to do. We may break the chessboard out. We're gonna do a lot of talking. Like I said, a lot of quality time, a lot of good conversation. We don't really have to go anywhere. We can order in. We can what's Netflix and Fire Stick?
Bro,
How much
this is
that
a
cost?
date,
That's free.
man. This is a $40 date challenge.
It's all right. That's what he would do.
You
though.
said
That's-
I'm using my wife
Go ahead,
now.
what he do? My
I
bad,
wish
go
my
ahead.
wife
That's
could
what he
call
would
in. A perfect date to her is ordering a pizza and calling Netflix and staying in the house.
Okay. That's what it is there.
There you go.
Netflix
Hey,
and chill.
Netflix
Ain't
and
mad
chill.
at that, dog.
Hot date too.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll take that day.
if
I'm
that's a
good.
date,
Yeah.
me
That
and my
is a
wife
date.
date every damn Friday.
You feel me?
Hey, but
date
let her
4
know
times a
though.
week.
It's like, hey, listen, this is quiet time for the adults. This is an actual date. You
Yup,
just gotta
yup.
let them know. That's all.
Nor, what about you?
So
$40.
$40 on the weekend. So me, I like to cook. So I'm gonna go to the grocery store, probably get something for dinner. Cheap candles or something, set the mood.
The Airwick.
Hey, listen, something real
The
cheap,
Glade.
dollar store one.
Glade.
We are
Dollar store ones.
no. What I'm saying,
Cotton
listen,
candy.
listen,
Them
listen.
things might burn up. And
Listen, we buy candles like every season. We got 20 candles at a time, so we good on the smell good candles.
Okay,
I'm talking
okay.
about just the dinner setting candle.
Oh, I thought you
yeah,
were talking
yeah.
about like some of them
Okay.
tea light candles.
I use those tea candles too. Yeah, those work in the bath. So what I'm doing is, make dinner, probably run a bath, get her nice and chill, relax, watch a movie, make some dessert or something like that, and chill out that way.
So
'Cause
no,
dinner-
you're not leaving the house.
no, not. I
See
mean,
what I'm
$40. You gotta think right now.
It's not fair because we married brothers. We know how to navigate a small budget. We
But
know what to do when you ain't got no dough.
But I'm thinking right now, tomorrow is gonna be 18 degrees. Wednesday is gonna be 2 degrees. I'm thinking about that. It's the weekend. We at the house. It's too cold to really go and do something. $40. I'm spending about 25, 30 on dinner.
You're gonna spend 40 on probably the liquor.
I mean, we may not have to drink. You know what I mean? Because wine, get a nice bottle of wine. I like the intimacy of, like Jay is saying, is being at the house and having that time, quality time.
I'm taking the easy way out.
Nah, I mean, what you gonna do with $40, Daryl? You
if
tell me.
it's $40
And you had to go out.
I'm
You didn't say you had to go
first
out.
date. First date.
we ain't got. We ain't gonna exactly. We don't have no more first dates.
If you wanted to go out, do you have to go out? Is the question. Are you saying go out for $40?
I'm gonna start off with this. So the $40 challenge. If we're going out,
okay,
and it's a weekend, somebody brought up gallery hop. You can do gallery hop.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Park somewhere. That's gonna probably be like $5.
Right.
That's from like what 8 to 10.
And this is 18-degree weather you talking about?
No, I'm talking about. I didn't put no weather restrictions.
All right, see that's what I got.
I just put that it had to be.
Got to be tomorrow.
Doing something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got okay.
So we can do this in the summer where it don't get dark till
Yes,
9.
this is the $40.
Y'all made it sound different.
You
I'm
made
throwing
it.
a frisbee.
No. Jay was the first
We
one to
playing
start.
curveball.
He wanted to stay in the crib.
Wait, you playing curveball?
Reminiscing childhood.
Oh shit!
Jay,
All right, so back to mine. We're going to the gallery hop. We're going to walk up and down. We're going to go to one of the wine tastings.
Mm-hmm.
They got wine tastings you can do for maybe about $10.
Mm-hmm.
That's if you're
There's
doing
20 left.
Yeah, so 20 left, and then we can split the food. We can go to Woody's. What's that? No, Goodies. Get us
Goody Boy Burgers.
Yeah, get a burger, fries, because we're married now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to go crazy. I don't have to go
Right.
steak dinner, shorty on her. And then we at the crib. We about to have either she gonna have our leftovers or
Yeah.
we gonna go back to the crib and that's it. But the gallery hop is gonna get us a good burn of 2 hours, 2.5 hours. A wine tasting gonna be about an hour of fun because she love wine and I know that.
See, I'm gonna let A
And then
go,
get some
but
to
I
eat.
want to change my answer though.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What
So
about
now
you?
you ain't saying we
yeah,
go
it's
outside. I'm
something,
thinking
right.
South of Mile.
I've been trying
You
to
know
tell you
what
to
I
go outside. You was like, nah.
I
You
want to
can play
the
some
house, play some
spades.
spades.
Don't.
It's in degrees outside.
I'm gonna tell y'all the date that we did probably 20 times in Louisville because it's something that people don't pay attention to. Like y'all know that hotel 21C, they got them all around, right? In the bottom of the one in Louisville, it's an actual museum, and they change the exhibit every single month. So we was going back every single month, seeing that's free. You ain't got to stay at the hotel. You can just
The
walk
Hilton
in.
here is like that, where it's an art museum in the
Hey,
lobby.
and if they change they change it every month. You ain't got to pay.
Yeah.
Go in there, kick it for a minute. Then in Louisville, there was the Slugger Museum. So we would walk right over to the Slugger Museum. Now
Right.
we lived there, so it was like $3 to get in. That's 2 things down. I only spent like $3. You know what I'm saying? Then we're going to walk down the river. You know what I'm
You
saying?
got a river walk or something like that? Yep.
And it's
Walking
like-
is going to be in there.
Oh yeah, walking.
We gonna walk.
We walking.
We gonna walk half the time.
Yeah, we walking. For
Yeah,
sure.
I don't even.
We
think
gonna
that was
park
an
this
issue.
car.
Believe that.
Well, O Sharp, input what you would add for your creative $40 date.
God, if walking is in there, you can make it a journey. Make it like we're going to walk to specific parts of the city, or we're going to walk to places that we might have walked to before. Because if you're saying it's your wife, Jay, y'all are speaking about your wife, not first dates.
Right.
Then if you already have been places, you can recreate your first date because you probably, have fond memories that y'all could often look back on. Like, yeah, remember when we first went here or we went there? You can do a lot with $40. $40 don't have to be the date. $40 is, just like I got $40. I can do it. Like it could end like ice cream and cake somewhere. Like there's a place on High Street in Neal where it's a chocolate. They make chocolate in front of you. You can if you said gallery hop walking down High Street. For those that are not in Columbus, Ohio, we have gallery hop on the first weekend of the month on our High Street. So we come down all the way to that chocolate place, and that's where you in there, and you already have something made for her, waiting for her. Y'all not being romantic.
That's an experience.
Y'all not really thinking. Y'all just trying to be cheap.
I said build a fire. I think sit by the fire with some tongue. Man, please.
O Sharp just scolded us. I appreciate that.
Hey,
no, right?
Now we get to be
he
more.
had time to think about it,
And
too.
now we get to be more creative because we can do this $40 challenge outside of this show and then report back this is what we did.
Yeah, like I want it, but I want to hear from what they like. I want to hear from the group.
I definitely want to
I want to
hear
hear what they do in the group.
I want to hear the guys and I want to hear the women listeners. What would you want to see on a $40 date? What are all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Women take us on
take us on.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, both ways. We gonna take y'all out for $40. Y'all take us out for $40. See what's more creative.
So what did you say? What did you want to change up?
So what I would do, because I'm thinking, if we're thinking outside, Easton is a beautiful place to go to.
Gorgeous.
So wine tasting, Cooper's Hawk.
Yeah, definitely.
You could definitely do the wine tasting, the flights for under $10.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then Jenny's ice cream is right there. Take a walk down to Jenny's.
Yep.
And then sometimes they have movie nights, in the park right in Easton.
That's sure.
That's typically on the weekdays, but I'm just thinking about just stuff we can do around the area. Just go look around, have some, like you said, conversation. Sometimes they have the horse and carriage at Easton as well. So it just depends on what we're doing. So horse and carriage, ice cream, and wine.
And walk.
Yo,
I mean, that works for me.
So I got a perfect one. I want to change mine. I got a perfect one. A couple months ago, I bought 2 canvases, like small canvases, right? Because we ain't got a lot of artwork in our room. So I bought 2 canvases, bought a bunch of paint, 2 candles, and just played some music in the house. And we painted. We ain't even talk to each other. We just kind of chilled and enjoyed the vibe.
Yep.
It was painting. And then we put those in our rooms.
That's a memory, dude.
And like I wound up painting the K, and she wound up painting the B.
Yep.
And that's amazing, because that's where I know for me personally, I fell short on thinking about date nights only being outside of the house.
Yeah.
When you got kids, now that I know now, you have to make time. You have to make a date night at home sometimes.
Yeah.
Like painting canvases or movie night.
And we
whatever it
love
has
to
be.
cook. So,
Yeah.
Cooking is part of the date.
Like
Make sure
all
you
that.
know all that stuff.
Yeah, wine tasting at the house. Like this is stuff that you have to actually, as a married man, when you've been in this for some
You
time.
laughing at, man? What's
No, when
Wine
you've been in this for
tasting
some
at the
time.
house.
Why not?
Why not?
We only
If
got
you
one
serve-
bottle of wine.
No, that's not the.
Tastes real good.
No, we have multiple bottles at my house. We got multiple bottles at my house, so different little.
I don't
Yeah.
drink wine.
I'm thinking about for me, just think about ideas of what we could do at the
I
house.
have a Kool-Aid sip.
Jail here pouring
Yo.
different flavors.
And just speaking of that, like my wife is into, like
Yeah, the vino was good. But yeah.
so like my wife, she likes craft beers. So here we have a place called Anderson's, or we used to have a place called Anderson's. They had a whole beer wall, so you can make your own 6-pack, and we would just get like maybe even 2 of those. It would be like $7 for the 6-pack, and then you got like 12 different beers that you can try. I'm like, do I like this? Do I like this? Pair it up with some tacos or some steak or burgers or something like that, and you figure out what you want.
Yeah.
And that's something that once Anderson's closed, we're like, dang, we can't go on our little quick Saturday dates where you buy the food at Anderson's from the butcher.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right
You
there.
look at all the different things that they have and
Love
get
the
you some beer and
Andersons,
bang out.
That's my favorite store.
That's not creative enough. Oh, is that bad?
Sound like something.
Okay.
That's Jay talking about walking. That was Jay talking about walking all day.
Hey, I
We
tried to preface it with my love language is quality time.
Hey, listen, you can go to Applebee's and get a 2 for $20. You talking some walking the whole
I'm not
time.
going to Applebee's. I'd rather cook. I'd
Nah,
rather
hey, I'm good on
I ain't going to
Applebee's.
no Applebee's, man.
Just saying.
But yo, we need to.
$20. I'm just saying, throwing it
Yeah,
out there.
no, we're not about to. We're not about to do that.
Bees is heavy today.
Clay, good seeing you, my brother.
Okay.
Fathers, y'all have a good evening. Y'all give.
Clay and Old Sharp leaving the building.
So that is our question of the day, our challenge for the month. Yeah, Hoops Academy. We're going to make sure that we want to try to do a $40 challenge.
Yeah.
Maybe not before the next show, but it would be dope if we can do it before the next show. But sometime in February, take your chick out for a $40 challenge and let us know.
Yeah.
We want to know how that will work. And ladies, I know y'all listen to our show and we love you for it. Let us know what would be dope for a $40 challenge.
Yes.
I think that was kind of
Put
funny.
it on
Nisi, we got
Facebook,
this in
yeah.
the bag.
Hey.
Oh, we about to compete.
Oh, we competing?
Oh, yeah.
We gonna compete.
We're gonna have a chicken wing tasting, different sauces.
Get the air fryer
we're gonna
out.
be
Hit
creative.
it up on
Yeah.
Facebook. Put it on the page.
He don't be on the internet.
No,
man.
not Jay. I'm talking about just people. All the
Yeah.
listeners out there.
Jay is
yeah.
anti-internet.
Right.
All right. So, once again, appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you follow us and subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave us some comments, 5-star reviews. Make sure you listen to us on Spotify. Subscribe to our page on there. We are on iHeartRadio, Facebook, YouTube, all those great things where you can find us while you are doing whatever you got to do. But we're going to get into our show. We had to make sure we just, got the fun part out the way and talk about some real stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want to make sure we discuss something real each episode
Yes,
that's
sir.
relatable. And I wanted to make sure that we spoke about, being stressed out. there's a lot of mental things that happen to us when it's wintertime. There's a lot of mental things that happen to us when we become fathers, when we're first told that we're about to be a father. All those things personally have changed me and shaped me into who I am today and how I receive things. And I see my fathers in the group that have talked about the different stresses. Like, you can go through stress of almost breaking up with your wife. You can go with trying to figure out this child support or losing your job. There's a lot of different stresses. Just being a black male, seeing the news, all these things stress us out. And if we're going to be honest with ourselves, we have to acknowledge these things so that we can become better at it. So as I ask these questions to my brothers, I want you all to reflect on these things too and consider your life and your things. So I'll start off with this basic question. I'll have Norm start off with this answer. What is your current mental state?
So currently, I'm in a better mental state than what I have been from 2018, maybe a little bit of 17. I didn't realize how much my mental was affecting my life. Yeah. Sometimes you go through things and you don't know how to equip yourself for it, so you try to find outlets. And right now, I'm in a really good mental state. Actually, yesterday, I got rebaptized at church.
It's a blessing.
Yeah,
congratulations, man.
That was something that I wanted to do. It was actually a 2019 goal that came sooner than I expected, but I'm glad I did it. I was in the right state of mind to really do it. But just thinking about last year and a lot of the ups and downs I went through, right now I'm actually in I would say a pretty good state. I'm on a wait list to go to therapy. So once I go through therapy, I think I will eventually surpass my, I say my average, a good state to like a better state of mind. So I really have an outlet, somebody to really talk to that is unbiased.
Yeah, non-biased.
Yeah, non-biased, just give you some advice. Praying definitely is one of the things that help me, but you still need somebody that can tell you, hey, I kind of understand what you're going through, or this is what some things that you could do. So,
because God can speak to those people that you reach out to help for. So
when I tell you God has spoken to people to get to me, and I've kind of ignored it as far as, I got it. But when he starts taking stuff away from you and you like, all right, God, I hear you. I finally hear you. But right now, what is it, the 29th, 28th? I would say I'm in a pretty good state of mind.
That's a blessing. I'm happy for you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Jay, what's your mental state?
I don't know, man. It's like a wild question. I don't really think about my mental state. I just know how I feel right now. Like, my current mood is I don't know. So check it out.
There's no wrong answer.
Right. I know, right? And I'm trying to honestly answer it, but I really would have to assess like how I feel. And I would just say overall, not just today, but if I step outside of today and look at myself, like this point in my life. So I'm really like energized because I've come to the next stage of my life, right? So I'm 34 years old. I'm not young and I'm not old. I'm like right there in the healthy area, healthy stage of my life. You know what I mean? Like
middle,
the prime.
Like J. Cole said, middle child.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm there right now.
I'm like the prime of my life. So really what I've come with was my new direction. So if there's young people in my family that I'm still young enough to relate to, and then there's the elders in my family where I'm still young or old enough to relate to, I feel like I'm at that sweet spot where I need to bridge the gap between the two. And so we were talking, Sharp and I, the other day, and it kind of just, it didn't hit me because this is an idea that I had, but it hit me to put it into place. Like now I'm ready. Now I'm able. And that's to have a family reunion. We were talking, and I'm like, man, my family hasn't had a reunion in years. But once we finished discussing it, I'm thinking about like, man, all the elders are like 50, 60. All the kids are like 19, 20.
It's a big gap.
So I'm the age, 30, 40 is the age where I'm supposed to call up great uncle so-and-so and little niecey,
right,
and bring everybody to the park.
Absolutely.
I'm the one that's supposed to facilitate.
To bridge that
I'm
gap.
at that age. And so that just gave me like a new energy towards life. Now I know exactly what to do when I get home. Now I know exactly what to say when I call family. Now I know who to call because I haven't spoken to them so long. So it's just like, if I walked into a room and was trying to find something, the light was off, God cut the light on. It was like, everything you need is right here. So now, instead of saying, man, I want to call him, I don't really know what to say. Now it could be like, hey, cuz, glad I talked to you, man. I ain't spoke to you in like 10 years. Yo, what you doing next summer? Reunion. Meet us here, be there, be square.
That's dope.
Even the elders, I can call them and say, hey, Uncle Jimmy, how you been? Yeah, this Jay. Yeah, P son, Wayne son.
Right.
This is what's going on. And I have a message to give to the people. I was always eager to do work, but I just didn't know what to do. It ain't rapping. It ain't, you know what I mean?
Right.
Poetry.
It's nothing like, not entertainment, but now I have a purpose for my life. My purpose is to bring my family together. And I know exactly how to do it, when to do it, why to do it, where to do it at. I know exactly what to do.
Man, that's so
it's
special,
like,
man.
It's like enlightenment is how I feel. I feel like energetic and enlightened.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's a dope position to be
Yeah,
in because
very
it could
dope.
be way darker, way worse.
Word.
I've been there.
So, Aaron, what are your thoughts on your mental state currently?
So it's very interesting that I'm on this show, right? I've struggled with mental health since the age of probably 15. I've been hospitalized multiple times.
Wow.
And it's not even a bad thing, right? Like, that's the thing about mental health, and I love that y'all are talking about this. We got to break the stigma around even talking about it. Like, the fact that I'm able, I've never met Daryl, but I haven't met y'all in person, and I'm comfortable enough to say, yeah, that's happened, but guess what? If I said that to anybody else, you got to worry about what the stigma is going to be behind that, right?
Yep.
You know, I'm a very intelligent individual, but at the same time, severe depression and anxiety, right? That's not something I can do. That's a brain thing. That's chemicals. You know, we need as a group and as a society to kind of embrace that, and I think that's what our generation is doing. I'm 35. So I'm right there with you. Yep. Like, our generation is the first generation, and me and Daryl was talking about this. By the way, I'm fair. I'm good. By the way, I'm good. But I kind of wanted to go into, because this topic, like, is very close to my heart.
I know.
And the reason being is we try and center everything in our network behind the mental health aspect. So when we're talking about Ladies Lunch, when we did that, it was about women getting together and being women, not worrying about what any guy is saying, and being able to put that out as a show. Just like HWAP. Get them together. Enjoy each other. Yell at each other. Have those conversations in private. Because those private conversations are very important for mental health.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm just very excited to talk about this because it is what I center my life around now. Because if you have good mental health, everything else will follow. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a black man, we live through so many traumatic things. Yep. Like, think about our parents. They might have seen Martin Luther King go, right? He was assassinated.
Right.
A couple other people, right?
Right.
We have seen on the TV nonstop for at least the last 10 years, murder after murder after murder after murder after murder. And what do you think that's doing to us mentally? We're just compressing it.
Yeah.
And we're just holding in. That's not normal.
Not at all.
You know what I'm
Seeing
saying?
it is totally different than reading it on the paper.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I just, like I said, I'm ready to talk about. Let's get into it, bro.
So the thing that I wanted to speak out when it comes to being stressed out is just figuring out, excuse me, if we know what stresses us out. Like, do we recognize our stressors? Do we know what, like, attacks us mentally? Like, and then how do we react to it? So, like, I know that there's certain things or certain ways that you can't get to me mentally. Like, you can talk about me. That's not going to get me as much as it probably would have before because I've ironed that out.
Oh boy. Yes, sir. You did iron that out.
I've ironed that out.
I would say that.
And at a time, you could not say nothing or look nothing or anything towards me, and I will flame you. Like, I will roast you
Right.
to smithereens. Yeah. But, like, now I'm different. Like, I've gotten past that, and that was a stressor because I had insecurities. Mm-hmm. I had just a lot of different things I felt I grew up with. And now I know that some stressors are myself viewing things differently than what they are. Like, sometimes I'll feel like my wife doesn't love me as much as she actually does. And then that'll stress me out.
Yes.
Or sometimes I feel like I'm doing too much and people don't understand it. And then I'll stress myself out and I'll internalize it. Like, why aren't they receiving this how I want this to be received?
Right,
or,
you working hard for it. Why don't they see me working hard?
So it's like those would be my internal struggles now, where it's like, damn, and then I'll start getting upset. And then the way after I receive the stressor and like allow it to come in, I stress eat. I'll separate myself.
Isolation is big.
Isolation is like what really gets me. And I had an episode where it just was like, I didn't want to be around nobody for a while. I was sitting in my apartment like crying in the dark.
Yeah.
I didn't want to listen to music. I wasn't feeling like doing nothing because I let all of these things take me away from me.
Yep.
And I didn't notice it until I got to like a really low point. I wasn't doing nothing I wanted to do.
But the fact that you're able to say that now, and I know you, the growth in you saying that, bro, only comes after time.
You guys will never hear me talk about the stuff that stressed me out at some point. Like before, I would never talk about that. It would just be something that you would I would have the conversation with people and not interject. And I didn't want myself to be known as a person who had depression or who
because you don't think about it like that. Right. Like the brother said earlier, these is just regular things that you go through. This is regular black man isms.
Exactly.
Right.
Like if that's the case, at the end of every week, Sunday is my shut down, cry in the dark day.
Yeah.
I do that once a week. Just be like shut down. I don't want to talk to nobody. I feel unappreciated. Dog, I work like 12 hours a day in the barbershop. I don't get no breaks. Don't nobody care if I eat.
Right.
Don't nobody care if I die tonight, somebody show up, still need their haircut.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm just standing there cutting hair. When I finally ready to go home, 5 people walk in. Bro, how many you got? I can have something important to do. I can have nothing to do. Who cares?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm always here. I'm always in a good mood. But truly, like if you dig into deeper past the surface, I got stuff going on. Kimberly Braswell. Shout out to Kimberly Braswell.
What's up, Kim?
Kimberly Braswell was, long story short, she spoke, and I heard her. But she said that it's trauma that the average black person has that nobody else experiences. So how you were saying in the 60s, all of our leaders are assassinated. That's trauma to the black community. Like your leader is assassinated. Not just like lose their job, but is killed.
And the fact is, you know
who, you know why, and everything. And then riots happen, and your community is torn apart. Then you build back up, only to be crippled again by drugs and everything in your neighborhood. Only to build back up and be crippled again by the internet, in my opinion.
Right.
Only to build back up and be crippled again by something else. And so you'll have trauma mentally.
Yeah.
Families have been separated. It's brothers that have children that don't even know.
Yep.
It's sisters that have whole families all by themselves. And so if something was to happen to trigger your mind, the average person would shut down, where the black person just internalizes all of that. We can't afford to shut down. I got to go to work in the morning.
I was talking,
what's next?
I was talking to somebody.
I got to deal with this.
And they were talking about like, they had a term for it. They called it generational trauma.
Word.
Because it passes down. Think about the amount of trauma just from the slave trade. Like just internalizing that
Not having
over
a
and
history
over
to tell.
and over, bruh. It is insane. Like I tell people all the time, black people and any minority in this country needs to have mental health included for free for the things that have happened to us, or it will never.
His brother's walking around with post-traumatic stress
PTSD.
syndrome.
And I have no idea and don't even know.
Just living in the neighborhood. PTSD because you live in a bad neighborhood, bro.
Really. Hearing gunshots.
Every day.
Arguments next door.
Yep.
People getting beat on. Stuff like that.
Not
all
knowing
the
your next
time.
meal is going to come from. Like
Being broke.
Yes.
We
Can't get a job.
That's what I was saying.
We get an interview.
Dog,
Man.
none of it.
All that stuff.
All of it counts.
And it turns into something else, and then we react a different way. We all react differently to stress. We all internalize it differently. We all bring it out differently. What are your coping mechanisms when it comes to stress?
Now, because it's about evolution, right? In my 30s, now that I understand, now from working in this barbershop and learning myself for so long, now I have to talk through my stress. I have to say what's going on. Otherwise, it's just thoughts in my mind. So I'll, just like I just did, man, I come to work every day. I'll really have to say that out loud.
Right.
And then at the end of all my purging of my feelings, then I have to reassure myself. It's for a reason. I work 12 hours a day because I can. I'm able. People come in and sit on top of each other to wait to get their hair cut because it's a blessing to me. Like, I'm blessed abundantly. I'm not weak. I'm not fatigued. My back don't hurt. None of those things. Like, I'm blessed to be able to handle this stress. I think black people are gifted in that regard, mentally, physically, spiritually. You have the strong enough legs and shoulders to carry the weight.
Right.
And so I'm not going to complain about the things that are wrong. I'm actually going to turn that into positive energy. You know what I'm saying?
We are good at that.
When my wife is in my ear, I need to hear that, and there's probably some stuff I need to change. You know what I'm saying? When I'm at work 12 hours a day, on Sunday, I'm going to make sure that I spend that time with my family. So my coping mechanism is like verbally saying, like speaking, getting that out of my system,
that acknowledgement
off of my chest.
Yep.
I have to say first, like, I'm mad, I'm angry. I'm not just angry, but I'm really like stressed out. Then once I get that out, the answers come to me. Now I know what to do. Take a minute, chill, tell your wife, turn the TV off, and then everything. Once I speak it, everything falls into place.
Norm, what about you?
That was a big deal for me, is internalizing and holding everything in for a long time. I dealt with stress. I didn't even realize until, I said, maybe about two years ago. But before, I used to drink, I would smoke, I would try to work out or find outlets. Now for me, it's more prayer. Like, I've been so in tune with prayer lately. It's
Same
unreal.
thing.
It's literally unreal how powerful prayer is. And growing up, you know, if you're in a black church, my father was a deacon. You know what I mean? We was at church on Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sunday. And after a while, you get so churched out, you turn your back away from it.
Absolutely.
So for me, it took some time till I became an adult to where I had to get back into it. That's what I say. I just got baptized yesterday, and that was almost like a stress reliever, where it was like, all right, God, I'm tired of fighting what you have for me. I'm tired of running away from you. This is me giving you my all. Like, I'm done fighting.
Right.
And literally, prayer is one of the things that's helped me so much, and expressing how I feel. Like you said, Jay.
I think those are the same things, because as you saying it, that's really what I'm saying.
Right.
Is prayer out loud, though. I have to speak out loud and pray out loud.
And that's what I'm doing too, is instead of me holding that in, instead of me not saying something to my wife and just turning our backs when we go to sleep, like, you know what I mean? Now it's more like, hey, you got a few moments. I need to tell you how I feel.
Right.
Like, I don't feel happy in this situation, or I feel stressed out in this situation. So for me, like you, Jay, it's expressing it, because you can't heal what you don't reveal. So literally, you have to say out, all right, this is how I'm feeling, to get that burden off of you.
Right.
So that's how I'm dealing with now, more prayer and literally just talking to the person I may have issues with, or I may need to work on communication with.
Aaron, what's your coping?
So for me, it's a little different. I'm a spiritual person. I don't identify as a Christian right now, but dope.
Yeah,
that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I've been doing the same thing too. It's like not really Christianity. It's just like, I do believe in higher power.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I do meditate and I do pray. But for me, and I love what you said, because you said something that was really interesting. You said that black people have the ability to carry the weight, but I also want to add on, but it's okay if you can't carry it, right? Like, because we have to get to a point where we accept that fact that some people just can't carry it, and it's unfair to certain people to keep pushing them to do that. And I'm not saying it as a deterrent, because what you said is absolutely true. But I'm saying, and also, we need to be able to be fair with those people that can't, and be kind and care with them.
Word.
Because if we don't, that's when the breakdowns happen. That's when you go into yourself. That's when you crying in your room. Or, like, for instance, when I first started doing my podcast, we was doing it one time a week, one time a month. And it just kept growing and growing and growing to the fact that we were doing it 4 times a week, every single week. At the same time, I was miserable, right? I'm doing all this in the front, and in the back, I'm dying. But that was that's what I thought my coping mechanism was, and in reality, it wasn't. Yeah. And I needed to sit back for a minute. I had nobody to tell me that. So we need to be able to be around each other as friends, as family, as brothers, as sisters, and be able to reach out to them and be like, hey, I see you. Come here.
Because we use distractions.
Distractions are terrible.
Yeah. Like, right? We use that to like, everything we try to do is a distraction. Buying more clothes sometimes is a distraction.
Right.
We go out and kick you as a distraction. We don't, like, self-evaluate. Self-evaluating is one of the hardest things to do. When I had to see myself and how I was reacting to people, like, and how I was reacting to myself, how I was not looking at myself, and how I was looking at myself, my self-images, and how I sometimes felt I was better than some people, and sometimes I felt like I was looking up to people that I shouldn't be putting on pedestals. Like, all these things I was doing to distract myself from what actually I needed fixing. Things that I hate saying fixing. Things I just need to be aware of. Right. Things I just needed to like look at. Like, pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your health. Pay attention to what you're putting out into the environment. Pay attention to what you're not putting out.
Yes.
What your fear has stopped you from doing. And I've had to deal with it for years, and I'm not done.
Your fear stopping you from doing stuff
all the time.
Listen, that's right there is it. Your fear, like, I always tell people, white people get to fail. As a black community, we don't get a chance to fail.
Nope.
And we need to have that safety net to be able to fail and say, like, it's okay, you failed, get back up.
Yeah, and failure is just a lesson learned.
Exactly.
It's just a way to find an answer for it.
But we're not talking.
We can't do that.
We're not taught our community to fail.
Right.
We don't even allow each other to fail. Like,
I
saw you lost over there.
Right.
You better not drop out, but you better not flunk out of school.
Man, listen.
And come home and face your family.
Or lose a fight. You better not lose a fight.
Get
back out there and fight.
Yeah.
Or losing 2K.
Or you lose your job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As soon as you got a job, you got to keep that. All costs. Even though you hate that job. That's not what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to realize, like,
I've been there.
Doing stuff that wasn't making me happy or doing stuff that didn't contribute to my happiness was an utter fail. And until I got to that point and was able to realize what I need to do for myself. Everybody else, they need to get on board or they need to go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I just love what y'all been doing and saying about that.
Appreciate it, man, because talking about it with my brothers is just helping me get to realizing, recognizing, and just fixing whatever I need to do.
We talk about how it's almost therapeutic every time we have a show.
Yeah, literally,
it is
literally I'm telling you,
this
every
is therapy,
time.
This is church. This is all of that, all in one.
And we ain't even really get deep into the stress level yet. Like, we still got more to go. So I know it's gonna be really.
That's how we started our show 7 years ago. It was the same thing. It was 4 brothers. We started, and we was like, we ain't doing this for nobody else. That's the secret. We doing this for us.
Yeah.
And if y'all listen, great.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
we're going to get our therapy out of this. Right. We're going to get our bonding time.
I can't wait to leave here and go home every time.
We said it every time.
As soon as I get home.
Every time.
Hey, last week, that's why when the question of the day was $40, it would even be better if you can go on a date and not spend no money.
Yeah.
Because me and my wife was piss poor, but we was like piss poor. Like, $40 for a date all night? What can't we do?
Exactly.
We've already been there with the pennies to pinch. And so, like, I'll say this to keep the conversation going, because there was a point in time since we've been doing the show where it was like one day we could be divorced, next day we could be happy. That was killing me. Everything was like fluctuating. So my mom,
and don't feel as if you're the only one going through that.
If you're happy,
it could have been a couple weeks ago where I could have felt the same way.
If you're truly married, you go through those ups and downs.
Yeah.
But the thing that got me was, like, my mom called me and asked me how was I doing, and everything was terrible. And then she called me like the next day and was just checking on me. How you doing? Everything is all right. And then the next day, everything was great. Next day, terrible. And so my mood was fluctuating. Yeah. And my mother was telling me, and I know it was good advice because my dad told me the same thing. take your focus off of her. Because when she asks me, it's basically based on how my wife feels, how I'm feeling. So if my wife is in a good mood, I'm in a good mood. If she's ready to throw in the towel, I'm ready to throw in the towel. So my mom told me to take my focus off of my wife. Same thing for my father. Take your focus off your wife. Just do what you're supposed to do. Get yourself together.
Man.
These are all conversations that we had here.
Thank them.
So when I applied those principles and just got myself together, everything fell into place.
Yep.
Now I'm waking up early. I'm gonna get my body right. Wife see me. By the time she wake up, I'm full of sweat.
Right.
I'm looking good. You know what I mean? When I get home, instead of waiting on her to straighten up, cook, whatever the case may be, I got it.
Right.
I was to the point where I was ignoring my wife. Like, she come home, oh, hey, yeah, cleaning up. Oh, yeah, get ready to cook. Hey, how was that? Work was good, yeah, whatever. And I'm getting back to myself.
Right.
Once I did that, I started looking more attractive to my wife. I started looking more attractive to myself, and surely, I'm sure God was pleased with it. So, the best thing to do for me, and this is just my perspective, the best thing to do would be to focus on yourself. Get that stress out, and then pour something good back in.
That's a word, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
You definitely need your own time, right?
Man,
like
listen, we all can touch on that.
Listen,
like if you don't get your own time, you're gonna go crazy.
You're gonna go crazy.
You're gonna go
trying
crazy
to please the next person
because you're never gonna be able to do it. You're never going to be able to please them to them.
What do they always say? You can't pour out an empty cup. Like, you have to give people your overflow. You have to be able to be full on your own. They should be able to get the overflow because that affects your family. We know how stress can affect our families by our actions, by our lack of attention to ourselves, our lack of help to ourselves. If we stress ourselves out to death, that's going to affect our families. When I start knowing that, this could really affect my heart rate and all this other stuff. And this can affect my livelihood. This can affect my house.
Yeah, literally could kill you.
This can affect my job, what I love to do. Things have to change. And I don't want everybody to get to rock bottom before change happens. I've always said that I've made my changes without something traumatic happening. I used to say that. I used to say that.
But you don't know what a mental rock bottom look like.
I
know what it looked like with drugs and alcohol.
Right.
I do.
But you don't know what it looked like with stress.
And I used to think that I didn't have to go through traumatic or tragedy to change, but I have. And that's just internal stuff. Like, I thought tragedy or traumatic stuff was outside. Like, I didn't have to get shot. I didn't have to go to jail. I didn't have to have whatever happened to me to change. But I did have to go through a traumatic mental state for me to know where I need to be going. I'm not there yet completely, but I'm heading in the right direction. I have more better days than I have bad days. There are times where I lose myself and I'm like, bruh, I gotta just like pep talk myself.
Literally,
like, bro,
you have to talk to yourself.
You have to get out of this. Like, bro, just breathe. Work out, do something.
Outside, get some fresh
close
air,
stuff, close these apps down. Stop looking at other people.
Look, I disabled because unfortunately Facebook is on every phone now. Like, you can't even take it off.
Exactly.
It is literally on every phone. I had to disable and hide Facebook. Bruh, it has been great not having to deal with everybody else.
Facebook ain't even the one for me. Instagram is where I was like, I had to take a break. I literally took a social media break. Because it's, like you said, traumatic or just seeing all these stresses.
If I'm going through something, now you go through it. It's going to cross your eyes. It's going to cross your path. If I'm dealing with insecurity and I just want to feel, now you going to see my you know what I mean?
Daryl called me out one time on it with Twitter because I would have like moments where I quote the Bible, I'll talk sports, and I always have a angry rant. And I didn't realize till he said, like, damn, Norm, you be having like these emotions.
You angry man right now.
And I didn't know. I didn't see it. I didn't know.
And I can only tell him because that's my nigga. And he understands where I'm coming from.
Right.
Like, I can't say that with everybody. I can't say, because I'll observe a lot of people. But that's my guy. And I want him to be in a better place. So I had to tell him where he's doing it at. Like, bro, you're acting crazy right now.
Dude, I didn't realize. I was like, damn, I'm really acting crazy. Like, I'm tripping.
And I'll have to elaborate. I'll let him think about it, whether he takes it or not. I said my part. That's my nigga. I got to tell him. And that's it.
Absolutely.
I took it. And that helped me be more aware of what I say, what I put out there. I even had a moment like last month, a few weeks ago, where I was just like, my mind was racing and I ran to Instagram for the wrong reasons. And I was like, let me delete this stuff. And I'm literally telling, like, stuff needs to change. Like, I'm tired of this. That I mean, I was just literally acting bizarre. I was acting really crazy, and I was like, man, you have to chill out.
Yeah.
Like, I take stuff to heart too much, and that's something I've been dealing with since I was in high school. You know what I mean? That fire back there you talking about, like how somebody talk about you and you got a fire back. I dealt with that with bad acne. You know what I mean? I dealt with that in high school, and I was just like, I always been defensive. And even my wife told me, she was like, why are you snapping at me? This was like last year, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know why. And it had to do a lot with work.
Traumatic.
I was in that high retail with being a manager at Finish Line, working
retail,
14 hours. There, working all them hours every day, trying to put my all into work and not getting nothing back. And she told me, she was like, I didn't care that you had to work a lot. She was like, it was just you bring it home. You bring it home, and you putting everything into work, but not putting that in the home. And that hit me this past year because she gave me that, not ultimatum, but she was like, I need a break. Like, all this that you bring at home, I need a break.
I bet you all of ours can line up.
And they can tell the same thing.
It can all line up because I'll come, like I said, 12 hours. That's an easy day. You know what I mean? When it's right before Easter or right before the holiday, when everybody's joyous and happy, I'm miserable. I'm like the red dude on Inside Out. You know what I mean? Like he took over my brain.
That movie changed me, bro.
It's real.
That movie was so real.
And it'll be like he's the one driving. Like by the time I get out of the barbershop, I done laughed. I done laughed again and chilled out. And then I'm mellowed out and I'm going home. Things is on my mind. People done been in my face.
Same for me.
The exchange of money. Yeah. I really need to like exhale. Not go to the bar and get a drink.
Right.
I just need like peace, close my eyes, and not do nothing. But when I get home, that's when I'm in high demand. Now it's like, Dad, check my homework. Dad, can you take me here? Baby, can you do this? I just finished cooking. Can you do that? Damn, can you get the dishes? And it's like,
more stress.
I haven't been doing nothing all day.
Right.
And so that's, if the red man is driving my brain, she gets the heat. The children get the heat.
Yeah.
Cut that damn game off. Get off that tablet.
Why are you spilling this? What you doing? You can't.
And I come home, and all of that fire that I needed to give them, all of that fire that I needed to release, I give it to them.
And that's what happened to me during holiday time. That's why I feel like the Grinch.
Always.
Holiday times in retail,
Christmas?
I hated it.
Well,
I hate Black Friday. I hated Christmas. I hated back to school.
Easter.
Though all that time was when people was there all day long, and I had to
in
work
your face
all day long.
And they happy.
Yeah.
They happy.
And everybody can't wait to leave the barbershop so I can go get my suit, and then I'm flying to Cleveland.
Wait, and then they saying stuff like, oh man, I can't believe they got you working today.
Man,
like,
you got to work. Right.
You
wasn't here, I wouldn't have to work.
You working Christmas Eve?
Right.
Yes. Doing fades, tapers, and lineups.
Yes.
That was me during holiday time with shoes, man.
We're all in the service department. Like we give service to people. Like DJing is a service. Like I have to do that for the people.
And I know because I know the game. I know what you go through, Daryl.
Yep.
I talked to O Sharp. O Sharp does not smoke. He don't drink. He don't want to listen to half of that music.
Exactly.
So he's in there. It's lights. People coming up to you. Everybody's drunk except you. I know the stress. I know the stress. When O Sharp come in and be like, "Man, you killed it last night," he be like, "Yeah, all right. I couldn't wait to go home and go to bed."
Exactly.
Right?
Because if you think about, I don't want to make it about me, but like my job is to answer not just DJing. My job at my 9 to 5 is to answer complaints. So I listen to complaints all day long, and then I gotta come home. Not saying that is another complaint area,
I know what
but
you're
there is.
about.
Right. Oh yeah, you can say it. I mean, it's okay.
It's like I have to resolve stuff at work, resolve stuff at home, and put on a show at DJing. Mm-hmm. I'm not complaining, but it can be heavy, and I suffer in silence a lot.
You got energy you need to redirect.
Yes, and I feel like I don't have the right to complain. I don't have the right to emote these things on anybody or around people, and that I suffer in silence. And this is going to go with the last question I'm going to ask because we got to get back to our families. But why do we suffer in silence?
This definitely got to be a two-part.
Because I have a lot more questions to ask. I have a lot to talk about.
In my opinion, the reason why we suffer in silence is because that's just what black men do.
It's generational, baby.
It's
that's
just
what
we
generational.
Do.
That's what we do.
Whose grandfather ever talked about stress to other people?
Listen,
you know,
not mine. Whose
my
father?
my
father. My dad ain't talking to me about stress.
What you crying for, boy?
Right.
I told y'all what my grandfather's doing
Stop at
right
the
now.
soft.
Yep.
My family has moved right along, and my grandfather stayed in the same place. He's too proud. So my grandfather is, I don't want to say like the caveman, but he's that dude. He's like hard-headed, and he's going to die on his pride.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be like that.
Nope.
So if it means that I got to be, and I'm using air quotes because I'm not soft, but if it means that I got to be emotional and soft heart and kind-hearted to my wife and my children, then so be it. If that's what I got to do to survive, then so be it. But I think generationally, that's the way that we have been conditioned.
Yep.
We've been groomed to just be quiet. When white people come in and treat us how they treat us, you better not look them in the eye. You better not speak up. When your boss come in and tell you, I need this done by tomorrow, you better not, you can't stand up for yourself in this society.
Anyway. They want you to silence.
And so it's almost been groomed for us to just internalize it and keep smiling, keep the show going. But what's really happening is that stress and that silence is what's killing us. Yes. That's what's running our blood pressure through the roof. That's what's got our mind weakened. That's what is killing us, is that internalization. So this is just my answer to all of these questions. I think if brothers prayed more out loud, be it by yourself, with your family, or with whomever, if you spoke your mind more, that would be the peace that you needed. I guarantee you, just as I'm telling y'all, everything falls into place once you speak it out loud.
Yep.
And I'm just going to, if you speak to God, he will hear you. So if I say, man, I don't know what I'm doing, the answer is going to come there. All right, well, did you try this? Did you try that? Did you call O? O knows. Did you ask Reese? Reese can help you. Call your grandfather.
Exactly.
The voice comes to you. Mm-hmm. The answers fall right into place. But if I just keep it to myself, I'm only thinking for
Absolutely.
self. I'm only thinking about how mad I am. We internalize it because we were conditioned to. But that's not who we are, Daryl. The fact that we doing this radio show is therapy enough for me. Every time I do this radio show, me and my wife get stronger. Ask her. I wish she can call in and be like, yeah, ever since y'all been doing that show, he come on Monday.
Right.
And by Saturday, he need to do the show again. Because I be stressed out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's real. I just feel like if we prayed out loud and spoke out loud, everything will fall into place. Your wife will know exactly how you feel. Your wife will know. We all,
Absolutely.
Everybody. I got one more, and then, because my friend called me. And now that I'm speaking, I'm hearing. My friend called me, and he was like, man, let's go grab something to drink. And I wasn't thinking at the time. I'm thinking, like, grab something to drink. He in the neighborhood will stop, grab a brew. We at the bar. When we at the bar, the truth comes out. He pours his heart out. Man, I'm just saying, man. My wife this, my wife that. She act like I ain't this. And he begins to speak like I'm saying.
That negative stuff.
You got to get that out. You got to spit that out because it's real.
Right.
He really feels that way. And once he kicked all of that, I'm like, bro, you right. My wife the same way. But then I get to speak to him. She's supposed to feel like that because of A, B, C, D. I bet you come home with that same attitude you giving me, threw some drinks on top of it, and then you come home and kick it right back to her. So now that you're saying it to me, leave it up here at the bar. Let's throw this drink back, and then I'm gone because you made me miss my wife.
Right.
But I'm saying all of that to say that when your friend asks you for help because society is the way it is, he's never going to be like, yo, Daryl, I really need to talk, man. I'm struggling in my relationship. It's going to sound like, hey, man, what you doing, man? Let's grab a drink, man.
Yep.
Right.
It's going to sound like that. And so you got to be able to discern and read between the lines. Yep. Just like when we do this radio show, we all is chopping it up, and this is good conversation, but this is therapy. Yep. I'm going to go home and apply all of these principles. I'm going to go make sure I pray out loud over my children so they know, like, I don't care if I've been home for 10 minutes or if I've been home for 10 hours.
Right.
This is, I love my children, right? And I'm going to tell them that I love them. I'm going to tuck them in the bed. I'm going to say my story, and then I'm going to let them go to sleep. And then I'm going to try my best to be up before they get up. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Those type of things matter. That's what relieves stress to me, is speaking out loud and then doing exactly what I hear next.
Norm, so it's kind of hard to follow up.
It's hard to follow up.
But that's... Yeah. Just say what you're going to say, man, because I need to hear.
Why do you feel that we suffer in silence as black men, as fathers? Because we are from the perspective of being a father.
Right.
We don't always feel like we have the right. Well, personally.
What I've been through, I think it's from friendships. I think it's the people that you think are the closest to you are the ones that should be the ones you're able to be more open with, the ones you're able to console or also give the energy that you need to give off to without being judged or without being clowned on, without being talked about. Because that's something I dealt with is I want to say how I feel, but I'm the only one expressing my feelings, and I feel like, I'm the soft one. You know what I mean? This one, you know what I mean? I'm the only one that's saying how I really feel, so they look at me a different way. So that's where I was like, man, I can't continue to pour out to people that's not going to give me sound advice, prayer, or anything that's going to help me. Like, that was my biggest thing is the friendships and the people I kept around me wasn't the ones that was giving me the positivity. Yes. Hey, man, Norm, I'm going through the same thing. You know what I mean? Right. I dealt with this too. It's more so like getting clowned or it's coming back a few months later and it's like, remember when we was talking about this and you did this? Now I have people like here on this podcast where I can express how I feel and there's no judgment. It's like, Norm, I'm going through that too. Let's work on this together. Or my brother-in-law Scott, man, it's the reason why me and him are close now. I can talk to him about anything. He's been through some stuff too, and we can help bounce ideas on each other to make our marriages strong. My boy Jermaine, same thing. These are people I can express what I'm going through, and there's no judgment.
Word.
It's literally, hey, man, I'm going to pray for you, and then also let's work on this together. Or here's some advice, what I've been through when I did this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's no judgment. That's the thing that hurt me the most is growing up is I always felt like it was somebody trying to get after me or get me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What you mean?
Like, let's say if I say, hey, man, listen, I feel depressed because, like Daryl saying, I shut down. I'm quiet. I don't want to do anything. Oh, man, you being weak, man. Come out here, kick it with us, man. We got this going. Like, no, I'm trying to figure this out. Oh, you don't need to figure out nothing, man. Like, just get out here, just do this, just do that. But for me, it's more so if I'm giving you some, let's say I'm giving you feelings or how I feel, and you not giving me any positivity and you just clowning, right. Like after a while, you're just like, you know what, I'm done, man. I can't deal with these people. So that's where I'm at now is more so I have to have the people around me that's going to help me be better. That's going to help me to say, hey, Norm, hey, you know what? You shouldn't be doing that. Like if you can't keep your friends accountable and they can't do that for you,
yes,
what is that?
Yes.
If I can't say, Daryl, you tripping, man. You know what I mean? You don't need to be talking to such and such when I send you out. If I can't say that, you being my brother, that's a problem.
Yeah, that ain't real friendship.
You know what I mean? That ain't real friendship. I need somebody to be like, Norm, you tripping. Like you said, Norm, hey, you acting crazy, dog. Check yourself. Like, stuff like that is what I need. And for me, it was more so friendships that kept me from expressing how I feel and that stress being put on me.
That's hard to recognize and hard to live with.
Yeah.
But the fact that you are able to recognize it and still work through it, that just makes it that makes you strong.
Oh, yeah. I feel a lot stronger now that I think I've ever been.
Me too.
Yeah, like you said, they going through some stuff.
Man, listen.
I may not have been psychologically admitted or anything, but when I tell you I was at a low moment.
Yeah. It's okay. And that's the thing.
I'm climbing out of it.
Hey, I'm appreciating the fact that you're going through the struggle, right? Yeah. Like, for me, the reason I'm able to speak so freely about the stuff is because of my podcast, right? There's a certain presence, a certain energy, what y'all both said, energy and empathy for me is what does it, right? Like, as people, as me, I speak for myself. I am an empath. And when it comes to being an empath, I feel emotions everywhere. So I'm constantly processing what I should do next. And I've had traumatic things in my life. Like Daryl knows my brother died at 16. He was in a car accident. He was police chase, like all over the news. You know what I'm saying? And that same year, my grandfather died. And I got kicked out of school. That type of trauma sits with you forever. And if you're an empath, you'll think about that until you address it. So that's what black men do. We sit here and we just think and think and think. And when you in that hole, you ain't got nobody to talk to, right? You feel like that. But we need to recognize and realize if you can't talk to somebody like this, they don't need to be in your life.
Right.
Period. Like,
I finally got to that
energy.
level.
Energy is everything, man. It's always going to be everything. And if you do not take the time to bring the right energy in, like I trust Daryl. Like I trust him because I know he's not going to bring bad energy around me. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
a fact.
The fact that I can open up and be free with y'all about this. You know what I'm saying? And be on the podcast. I've talked about this for years. You know what I'm saying? And to have that type of freedom is rare. You know what I'm saying? So if you can get to a point where you can embrace your flaws and embrace your empathy, embrace the fact that you feel other people's emotions and you recognize other people's things, right? And that's swirling in your head, it's okay. It's okay if you overwhelmed, right? Like that doesn't make you weak. Like I know y'all talked about
it'll make you free,
right?
Once you recognize it, it'll make you free.
Right. Like y'all talked about soft, and like I understand with the terminology, but like for me, soft don't mean shit. Excuse my language, but because women are soft, and women are like the strongest thing in the world,
strongest,
right? Like so, if you can be soft and be a woman, I'm good, right? So I don't even take that as an insult no more. Call me soft. That just means I'm in touch with my emotions.
And that's the best thing about it right now is as grown men, we're all in our 30s, and we've had those moments in our teenage years, in our 20s. That's why I say I felt that. Yeah. I was holding on.
Oh, I've been around for some of your Twitter rants. Don't think I ain't. I've been around. Don't get it twisted.
Moments, but it's just like holding on to like just that energy in certain people. And there's no love lost. It's just eventually you have to move on from it.
Yep.
And I finally feel freed. No love lost, no disrespect to anybody, but I'm finally to that point where I'm able to be like me.
Yes.
Like really be me, really feel loved and really feel open and emotional. That's what they were talking about masculinity. That's not even real. Masculinity is such a false definition, man.
We got another show. We got to have another show.
We have so many shows lined up for this one because
this is definitely
seriously, we're gonna visit this maybe a couple weeks later because I want us to have it's heavy. Yeah. It's heavy on me. It's heavy on me to know that you guys have had to suffer, and I've been around you all, and I maybe have not been there as I probably could have, but I at least try to, I feel for you all. I feel for my listeners. I feel for my black men. I feel for my fathers, because I care, because I've been there, and it hurts. Yeah. And when you don't let it out, it festers.
Yep.
And I just want you all, listeners, people in this room, just to love yourself, free yourself, and let's find our accountability partners. Let's find our people that you can speak with, and let's be that for somebody else.
Hey,
Reach out to somebody.
I'll tell you right now, if you in a group and you need to talk, message me. Yeah. Like that's how open I am. Like if you just hit me up and say, look, hey man, I know you don't really know me like that. I just need to vent real quick. Yep. Boom, it's out.
I mean, seek therapy too, man.
Yeah.
Therapy is out there, and I can't wait to get to therapy.
Helpful. It's very helpful.
I can't wait.
So I'm gonna close it like that, man. I appreciate every single one of y'all. I love y'all. Y'all are my brothers, man, and I just want us to live free.
Yeah. I want y'all to get on our show too. Like I want y'all to come on. I got to figure out because y'all set up a little different, so we're gonna have to figure it out. But I definitely want y'all to come on because that would be like an all-star show. Yeah. Because it's 4 of us, 3 of y'all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We can have these deep, but we go a little longer than y'all. Yeah. So
all we gotta do is schedule some time.
A little longer, but I definitely want to have y'all on because I appreciate y'all opinions, and I feel like my audience would love to hear this type of content.
We'd love to bring it. So just keep following my guy Aaron. Let them know again where they can hear your podcast and your network.
Oh, so right now, so we got blackastronauts.com, which is real fucked up. Because now, like, kids be looking for the real black astronauts. They get us. But black. So I'll show y'all some DMs later. But they actually do be DMing us like, hey, we want to.
You inspire me to work for NASA.
This poor little girl one time emailed us and was like, "Hey, we're doing a book report, and I just wanted to know if we could speak to this." Funny thing is, though, we interviewed one of the black astronauts. They actually called themselves Black Astronauts.
Oh, wow, okay.
And
Nice.
I sent it to him, and he talked to her.
That's dope.
So, yeah, man, like blackastronauts.com. It's under renovation right now. So, in the meantime, if you go on Facebook, Twitter, you'll be able to find our stuff, at least the last 10 episodes. We have our archives, which is over 7 years of shows. I think we're up to 480 shows. So
goals.
Right.
Yo.
So
Big goals.
well, that's just main shows. That's not
Yeah.
including any premium.
Exactly.
So patreon.com/Black Astronauts.
Patreon. Where you get
Also, on Twitter, Black Astronaut 1, and I'm Ashley3 Classy. I'm on actually they don't know I'm doing the show. They kicked me off the network for like a month. They said, "Yo, you need to go take a break. You've been doing this for 7 years."
My bad.
So,
Sorry,
hey, no. I already been. Hey, look, I already been on 2 other shows. Y'all just don't tell nobody, and we be good, all right? But yeah, I appreciate y'all having me on.
Hey, man, it's been a blessing.
doubt.
Hit us up, y'all. Give us some feedback. Let us know how you feel, and we can make sure we shout you out on part 2.
Yeah.
To be
Free
continued.
yourself.
Yeah,
Free
for
yourself.
sure.